Hi, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing Codewars 6 Caillou LooseChange. Alright, so it says in this kata you must create a function that takes an amount of US currency in cents and returns a dictionary / hash which shows the least amount of coins used to make up that amount. The only coin denominations considered in this exercise are pennies for 1 cent, nickels, 5, dimes, 10, and quarters, 25. Therefore, the dictionary return should contain exactly 4 key value pairs. Notes: if the function is passed either a 0 or negative number, then the function should return the dictionary with all the values equal to 0. If a float is passed in the function, its value should be rounded down, and the resulting dictionary should never contain fractions of a coin. Alrighty, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this variable here. Well, yeah, we're going to grab this object here, sorry. And we're going to move on over to CodePen. I like solving my algorithms in CodePen. So I can see what's happening with the code as I type it. Seem to learn more that way. Alright, return cents, and then we're going to console.log initializing func, and we should see 0 in the console. Perfect. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this. We're going to assign this variable cents to a new variable called rounded cents, and we're going to say math.floor cents. So that's taking care of this edge case we have here. If a float is passed, which means a decimal, it should be rounded down, right? So immediately we're just going to round cents down and just deal with rounded cents for the rest of the algorithm. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a variable result, an object variable, and I just pasted in that from down here. So we're going to set this object. We're going to have this key value pair rows, nickels, pennies, dimes, quarters. We're going to set them all to 0 to start. And the first thing we're going to do, actually, you know what, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Before we do that, let's just check one thing. Let's make this a decimal and make sure that's working correctly. So rounded cents, we should see 0, and we do. Good. So this is rounding this 0.9 down to 0. Fantastic. Alright, and then so we have our result. For now we're going to return result. And there we have our object. Alright, so we're going to take care of the next edge case where if cents is 0 or less than 0, we want to return this result with everything in 0. So we're just going to say if rounded cents is less than 1, we're going to immediately return result. So now we should see 0 again. Oh no, I'm sorry, we should see the result. Duh. So to prove that that's working, I'm going to change this to rounded cents, and now we should have, yep, we have result. It's returning result. So because this is 0.9, you know, same thing's going to happen here if I put in like -1, right? Right. Cool. Alright, so that's the easy part. Next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create a while loop. And one thing I always do, just for safety, whenever I'm doing a while loop, excuse me, I always comment out that console.log because it's easy to create an infinite loop while you are writing this while loop, and that'll really mess you up. So it says while rounded sense is greater than 0, we're going to do a bunch of stuff to rounded sense. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if rounded sense first is greater than 25, greater or equal to 25, excuse me. And if it is, we're going to subtract 25 from rounded sense. Let's grab a different value here. Let's say 100. Or better yet, let's say 56. This will make more sense as we do this, but so 56. Let's say 56 for now. So we're going to say if rounded sense is greater than or equal to 25, what we'd like to do is we'd like to say that result dot quarters equals result dot quarters plus equals 1. So basically, while this is over 25, oh, and then we're also going to say that rounded sense is now going to equal rounded sense minus equal 25. So while rounded sense is not 0, it's going to then check if rounded sense, sorry, right here, is greater than or equal to 25. If it is, we're going to add 1 to quarters, and then we're also going to subtract 25 from rounded sense, right? So with just this, we're going to have a result of quarters having 2, and rounded sense is going to equal 6, but we need more because then we're never going to reach 0, right? So we got to do the same exact thing for the rest of these coins. So now we need to say else if. We go to dimes next because you want to start with the greatest value, next greatest value, next greatest value, and finally pennies. So then this is pretty simple. All we need to do is do a bunch of copy and pasting. Copy. And we're going to paste that into the if, and we're going to change this to 10. And then we are going to put our action in there, and it's going to be the exact same, except, of course, we're going to change this to dimes, this to dimes, and then this is now going to be 10. As a matter of fact, we can even move a little bit faster and just put else and then copy all of this there you go. We'll change this to 5, and now we're going to put nickels and then nickels, and then we are going to change this to 5, and then in this else that just leaves us with a penny, right? So we're just going to take all this, copy, and we changed this to pennies, and then we changed this to pennies, and then we changed this to 1. And then they're asking for result. That's what we want to return. Alright, so what should happen here is that rounded sense is going to be 56 initially. So when we get to the while loop, it's going to hit this condition because it's over 25, and it's going to add 1 to quarters. It's going to subtract 25. You're going to be left with 31. Okay, then it's going to go back to the loop again. It's going to hit this condition again because we're at 31. It's going to add 1 to quarters, so now this is 2. And your round sense is going to go down to 6 because 31 minus 25 is 6. It's going to go back in the loop because we haven't hit 0 yet, and then it's going to get to this condition, nickels, because we're at 6, and it's going to add 1 to nickels, and then 5 minus rounded cents, so 6 minus 5 is 1, so you're going to have 2, 1, and then we've got 1 left. It's going to go one more time. It's going to hit that last else. It's going to add 1 to pennies, subtract 1, and then we're done with the while loop, and then finally it's going to return result. So what I'm expecting to see is 1 nickel, 1 penny, and 2 quarters. Let's give it a shot. Whoopsie. Oh, crap. What did I do wrong? Hold on. It is not working. Rounded. Oh. Nice. Alright. Now it should work. There we go. Looks like we got it. Alright, so let's go back to Codewars and double check that it passes all the tests. What's going on here? I think something happened. Oh. There we go. Alright. Test. Working. Attempt. Everything's working. Fantastic. And we go ahead and submit. Alright, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to see more like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and you enjoy the rest of your day.